Good evening, and thank you for watching uh, episode 50 of Indeed. So, we're going to start things off a little differently, and that's just saying thank you. Thank you to all of our supporters, everyone who watches the show every week. There's more and more of you every week, and it's awesome to see. And the ones of you that keep coming back, it's like cool to build this little community with you. And that's that the more we've been able to do this, it's just been awesome to see that like flourish and bloom. So thank you to all of you. uh Obviously we didn't start here on Fightful. We started first episode of Indeed was me sitting alone talking about some indie shows I watched that I really liked, and that was over on bodyslam.net, and we had a nice home there for a while. And I want to say thanks to Cassidy Haynes for giving us a place to start that, and kind of build the foundation of where we are now. Also, congrats on your relaunch today, and all of our awesome guests who've been on the show. Thank you to all of you. I'm not going to name you all. There's too many, and then you can't put wrestlers on lists because then you'll be like, why am I not on the list? And look, so I'm just blanket thank you to every guest, including today's guest, who we'll introduce in a bit. And then for me, of course, I got to thank Reg, because if I didn't partner up with Reg after doing this for only if I did this alone for 6 episodes, terrible. Don't go back and watch any of them. And if I didn't partner up with Reg when I did, there's a pretty good chance that we wouldn't be at episode 50 today. Also, I can't imagine doing the show with anyone else other than Reg. So thank you to Reg for just being the best co-host I could have possibly had for this. And as much as I want to keep doing this with you, I know that it over the last couple of years, I've just seen so much good shit and good fortune come your way. A lot of great opportunities are coming your way. You're busier than you've ever been. And there's going to be a day soon where I have to replace you because you're just going to be too damn busy to be here. And I hope it's sooner than later.
I hope so too, man. I need money. I'm broke. I'm broke as hell. I need a lot of money. I need about $200. I don't know how much money is. Whatever. Shout out to Mike. I appreciate that intro and that love. Indeed has been godsend. Honestly, I have a lot of podcasts. I talk about pro wrestling all day, every day of my life. All of those are about mainstream wrestling, talking about AEW, talking about CM Punk, talking about WWE, whatever. But here on Indeed, I get the opportunity to talk about what I really want to talk about all the time. That's independent wrestling, because at the core of all of this shit is just about independent wrestling. And there wouldn't be any mainstream wrestling without independent wrestling. So we're going to continue to put a shine on those who deserve it. This is the space that we use to make sure the wrestlers that we love, the people that we want to see get more attention, get it. So without Indeed, there wouldn't be that. So we're going to continue to give y'all that. Appreciate everybody always showing up. Appreciate all the wrestlers who continuously show love. When I'm at a live show and someone's like, Indeed is blah, 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 it's like it hits every time. Like it never is not dope for me.
It's
so
wild.
Shout out to all y'all. Appreciate y'all. And let's keep this party going, man. We're only 50 in. Let's go. But yeah, like Mike said, hopefully somebody's like, here's a lot of money to do something that you love, and we'll be out here. So yeah, Indeed, baby. But let's get to the stuff we are here to get to. Very important episode, very important 50 right here. We got a big guest here. As you know, the BW 500 came out recently. People had me up in arms and around the corner and on the ground and every awkward position you could have. They had me there. But every time people were arguing with me on the internet, I would say to them, if you're arguing with me, you already don't understand the point of the list. If you're in my DMs talking about numbers, you already don't understand the point of the list. If you're fighting about why Bobby Lashley isn't number 4, you don't understand the point of the list. You know who Bobby Lashley is. You know, it doesn't matter what his number. Bobby Lashley could be 500. He's still Bobby Lashley. That's not going to change anything. But on the backs of that, that's exactly what Indeed is about. About 80% of the BW 500 is independent wrestlers. Like the lifeblood of that list is this. And now the new leader of that list very recently defeating the long reigning Pan-African World Diaspora World Champion Trisha Dora. Shout out to Trisha Dora. Amazing run. Amazing. The way that she represented for the championship, it's going to be hard to replicate. But this man right here is going to try his best. You've seen him in a multitude of places, but the work that he's been doing the last year and a half or so has been exceptional. And he earned this championship more than anything, more than just like, oh, he's the black guy that's out here outside. No, he did the work to be the next one out here. So we'd like to welcome to Indeed, Suge D. Suge, how are you today, my friend?
Wow, you put a little extra on it. I'm fine. I'm great. Let me give everybody the shot that they came to see.
Come on, you know what time it is.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh my God. It still looks so good. That's the best part about it.
It ain't gonna stop looking good. It ain't gonna stop looking good. Like black don't crack. We know this. You know and everything like that. Also, before we get started, shout out to Gaston LaRue. Okay, let's talk about it. Gaston LaRue. I popped. You can look away, Reg. It's fine. I popped because I know who Gaston LaRue is because I do my homework. So as soon as I saw that name on there, I'm like, I thought it was gonna be a Jordan Oliver situation or like my man Robert Martyr, where it's like he look away, but if you do the 23andMe, you know exactly like it adds up. I just appreciate the fact that as soon as he caught wind of the fact that he was on the list, he cleared that up immediately. I'm not trying to take any spots away from anybody else, yada, yada, yada. I am Caucasus. I am from the island of Caucasus. I like what y'all are doing, but please give somebody else that spot so there ain't no issues. I know we're not giving out cookout invites. I don't believe in that kind of thing. But Gaston LaRue, I will bring you a plate, sir. Let me know what you need. I will hook that up for you. Thanks for doing the right thing. When you could have easily, there's plenty of people who would not have done what he did in that situation. That they would have tried to run with that. So thank you very much. All right, what you want to talk about? I've been plotting on you from the moment I knew that she was gonna be. I had that ready. I had that ready, sir. Locked and loaded. But we appreciate what you do.
J Rose, I just can't get away from this, Mike. Do you see what I have to deal with these people all the time? And yes, these people should.
So I have to ask a question. I do have to ask a question though, because I'm generally curious because I'm still a wrestling nerd at heart, no matter what. So I talked with PWI recently, and of course they admitted the fact that they forgot about Naito on the list. So I asked him in private, and I'll never give that answer. But he's like, so who wasn't supposed to make the list? So Naito could make the list if that was the case. So, but we're not going to do that because that's going to insult somebody. Yeah. So now that we know that Gaston is not of the list, who's the 500th person that does meet the 23andMe requirements?
See, the issue is that there's some at the end that, you know, like when I'm not scrambling, but when I'm trying to put this thing together, the bottom of this list, I'm exchanging a lot of names. I'm moving things. I'm looking at different wrestlers. I have a list of names throughout the year that I build of wrestlers. And somehow, some way, the homeboy Gaston LaRue slid in there. Like I said, I tweeted recently after the list, maybe I'll just continue to include a couple of Where's Waldo's in the list just so if you need to, you're like, oh, there's Waldo right there. Just one or two in there just to, you know, keep y'all on y'all toes. And they find it real quick, Suge. Don't worry about it. They find
I believe it.
I'm going to tweet it out because I'm going to go and look in my phone. I don't want to, again, like Mike said, disrespect anybody by trying to lame somebody right now. But there were a bunch of tremendous. Oh, it's Moose. I forgot. Sorry. Moose is the one I forgot. It's Moose.
Okay, Moose. All right. There we go. Moose, collect your door prize. You know, like collect your door prize when you get opportunity. I know for me, I'm just going to be honest. When I saw the list, I already knew I wasn't going to rank high. Like, I just knew. The only thing that changed stuff was, you know, this will flip your position real quick. And this was a late entry right here, Daddy. So, like I knew it wasn't going to work out. And I just want to give a little something for my people out there. I kind of ended up having that conversation with Darian Bankston recently while we were on the way to Nap. shout out Darian Bankston. You know, he's a pretty boy, but I could still deal with him. I'm
Totally.
notorious. I notoriously hate pretty boys in this business. I like my wrestlers, and I like my wrestling ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like I like the grimy stuff. So
I like it.
He's a little too pretty for the business, but he's still good. That said, I talked to Darian Bankston about the fact that it's not what your career looks like when stuff is booming. You know, when all the bookings are coming in, when everybody's tweeting about you, when, the dream match is this, and everybody's making their little clout list of who they want to wrestle, and then your name is on it or whatever it is. Is what you got going on when it's quiet. And there's a lot of guys that, you know, Jimmy Rave used to have this conversation with me all the time. He came up in a time when there was a lot of really good wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
That's whose names you don't hear anymore. They had their wave and then they never caught another wave again. So what is it that you're doing when your wave eventually breaks? What are you doing until that next wave comes back up? And I'm fortunate to be able to say, as long as I've been doing it, there have been some times I've been surfing, and there's been some times I've been combing the beach until the next wave comes through. But always find a way back into the fold. Whether it's I have to flip my style up, if I have to flip the character up, this, that, and the third. So to a lot of you younger cats, or to a lot of you cats who are wondering what's next, you can't win unless you play. If you're really about this, you're really about to find out what you're made of when they're not beating down your door about booking you, when you don't know what's going on. And when I talk about the BWI, I knew my year wasn't the strongest year as ones that I've had previously, and that's okay. There's going to be some times where it's not like that. I had to work on some things about me, my style, my confidence, everything. So that meant kind of drawing back and being a little bit more quiet. I got a little bit more selective. But I stayed quiet so that I'd have enough voice for when it was time to yell. And I can yell now. All right? At the top of my lungs. So, anybody that's out there that's wondering when they get their chance to yell, just work on your breathing a little bit. Stay quiet, you know, and it'll come together. It'll come together. A lot of people thought I didn't have a lot left in the tank, but I'm running on premium right now, so we'll see what goes down. But yeah, thanks for having me.
A lot of bars in there.
Absolutely.
I try.
That's no, there's definitely some wisdom in there. And you know, with the belt, that's actually, I think, a perfect place to start.
Okay.
You know, you just won it, but also it's, you know, it holds a significance. You know, like every culture and region has their own championships and promotions and titles. So from a representation standpoint, I recognize the importance of this title existing for the Black wrestling community.
I appreciate it.
And like the world championship designation, you know, obviously furthers that. But what does it mean to you, Suge D, to hold that belt?
I'm always big on the joke of I think I'm like a mixtape status wrestler at the end of the day. I don't think I'll ever have and that's just me being realistic with myself. I don't think I'm ever going to be a guy that they're going to beat down the door about signing a deal. And even when I look at what's out there, sometimes I'm not sure I'd be totally interested when it's all said and done. I got bills like everybody else, and it's going to take a number. You know, I'm not saying it's got to be a crazy number, but you know, I got to knock some bills out if we're going to go ahead and do all that and everything. And you know, I'm not doing like WWE numbers, you know, on my own, but I'm also doing better than an extra. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good. You know, I can pick and choose my opportunities now, and I've earned that. I've earned the ability to do that. That said, when I think about this and what it means to me, I feel like I may have said this on a different interview, but it bears reiteration. I think the commentary about this title is either this is something very grand, very important, especially in my case, because as a mixtape status wrestler, you never expect to chart, especially chart big. And this is like having a number one hit out of nowhere, you know? And they can't take that away from you. Like, it's designated, it's certified, it's a real deal. I love it when you have something where it doesn't matter what anybody else feels about it. The facts and the figures are what is. So you can feel however you want to feel about it. You can think this is the most important title in the history of world titles, or as some people have put it, you can look at it as a separatist or a racist or a segregative title at the end of the day. That's not what it's about, but it's not about how you feel about it. This is what it is. This is a world championship. The same way that Alex Kane walks around with a world championship and we both took that picture, that's 2 world champions in the picture. This ain't a vanity belt alongside a world championship. That's 2 black brothers rocking their world titles together and respecting where we're at. I say that to say, you just mentioned it before, Trish had a hell of a run. So now I have to have mine. And it's always a concern about what that's going to look like. I'm not here to do what she did. I have to do it in my own way. And I have to hope I can take it further. And I hope that whoever takes it off of me can take it even further than that, and so on and so on and so on. If she's the foundation of the house for this title, I have to be the one to pave the roads to make it open so that more can get to this title. And I've gone on record that I've got a lot of people that want shots at this. I got people that are plugged in for shots already. This Friday is me and A-Game at Paradigm Pro Wrestling. He's getting a shot based off the fact that the last time that we were in a ring together many moons ago, it went to a draw. He took me to my limit. I'll be fair. He deserves a shot. O'Shea Edwards, he'll get a shot in February because he's been owed a shot, and whoever won the triple threat was going to get a shot. He was the next one up. So I look forward to some grown man shit with him very soon. Every time we get together, it hurts, but people talk about it.
I know Billy Dixon's gonna have his name in there.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
that's the business. You can't run from the business. So like, I'm looking forward to that. However it shows up. But I'm also looking for people too. I've gone on record, and I'll say it again. I've said it every interview I've had, and I'll keep saying it because I don't want it to be misinterpreted. Who was number 1 on the BWI 500 this year?
Brian Keith.
Okay. Thanks for introducing me as the new number 1. But as far as that list goes, as a print, it was Brian Keith. If he wants to be the number 1 guy for real in black wrestling, I think he's missing the hardware. If I want to be the number 1 guy in black wrestling, I can't be in the room with a guy that you say is the number 1 and it not be that. So his invite is always open. And I've talked to anybody that we can to go ahead and make this thing happen. It is a priority to make that thing happen because that's something I wanted even before this. We're going to make that happen. Just so I don't get long with it so you can actually ask some questions. The last thing I want to say about this at the end of the day is there are championships that have been held by people where, a white man has never touched it. It's never left his country. And we're talking about Mexico. We're talking about Japan, a ton of countries where there's still a respect and a reverence for that championship, even though there's never been anybody of, European descent, Caucasian American, whatever you want to call it, that has held it. And there's respect for that style. There's respect for that culture of wrestling. I want to believe that we're building our own, and that shouldn't threaten anybody. That shouldn't piss anybody off. That shouldn't make somebody feel some type of way. Even though I know for some people it does. And if that's the case, it's just not for you. But for once, we have an opportunity to kind of have something for ourselves and to put a spotlight on people who need it. And this is really about being able to put people in a class, like to be able to have big matchups that have that talent that you know and that talent that you don't know. So we're going to open some roads up and we're going to see who really wants it. And I got to see how bad I really want to keep it.
Suge, going into your world title match, I'll be completely transparent here. I counted you out. Look, I'm going to just say it on record. I was going into the match saying Darius Carter was going to be the one. I thought he was the one. I thought he was set up for this. Thought he was the one. And Suge turned it around. How did that kind of feel? Because I wasn't the only one. There were a number of people kind of being like, yo, this is DC's time. It's all this, it's this, and this. And Suge was like, you didn't let him. You didn't say that. This didn't happen. What happened here?
Nah, boy. Look, it's not my first time being in a scenario where people thought and then it worked out a certain way. Sometimes it's the other way around. People thought it in my favor and it went the other way. You don't know until you know. I know I wanted that match with Trish in the worst way, but then, Darius Carter had a point. And the thing there's two things that drive me crazy about Darius Carter. One, he's very talented.
Only two?
Yeah. I know where he is. It's like, look, he's very talented. He's very talented. I will never take that away from him. He's talented.
So talented.
The other thing is, as much as it pisses me off when he gets on his promos and he starts talking about the fact that it's like this and, all this other stuff, all that other stuff like that, a lot of the times he's right.
Yeah.
Like, he's absolutely right sometimes. Right. There's some times where he's absolutely twisted the truth when it's all said and done. But was he owed a shot? Yes. Did he draw and also beat Trish Adora? Sure did. Did something I didn't do up until that day. But I don't run from nothing. People can say a lot of things about what they want about my career and who I am as an athlete and this, that, and the third. I don't run from nothing. Not the criticism, not the physical stuff, not how big, not strong, fast, younger, older, whatever. I don't run from any of it. And it literally was a situation where I'm in a ring with two people I've never beaten before. I've had singles matches with them both and never beaten them before. I've worn the egg on my face. So you have to take yourself somewhere you've never been, and you have to visualize the fact that I've already seen the worst of the worst in both of those situations. What if this is the time where it comes out different? And it did, and it hurt because this is what I wanted, but at the same time, there was something that felt very final about pinning Trish. Mm-hmm. I'll go on record as saying I love chasing her because chasing her made me a better wrestler every time. I hated losing, but I would always take that time to get better. And I'd ask myself some days, am I working as hard? Am I plotting? Am I scheming as hard as Trish is scheming? Because she dropped the title and she already decided she going to pull the flip. And what is it? She challenged Julia recently? Mm-hmm. New Japan Strong?
A couple days ago.
She could have been moping. She already plotting on the next move. You know what I'm saying? So all I can do is smile. And Darius Carter, matter of fact, I'm going to tell you exactly what promo you need to expect. We had a triple threat matchup and you pinned Trish Adora, but you didn't pin me, Suge D. You didn't pin me, the greatest, the all-father of all things, and you want to run around claiming that you are the champion when I, possessor of all things, have the title, and you run around acting like you are the one. Until you pin me, there is no one. And that will never happen, Suge D. That will never happen until you give me a one-on-one match. And that'll happen. I know I'm going to have to wrestle him. I know it's going to happen. But he's going to have to wait in the back of the line. That's not on me. That's what Johnny Bruh said. If me or him lost, back of the line, there's a bunch of other people. Guess what? He lost. Back of the line. I got O'Shea to worry about. I got A-Game to worry about. I got some surprises along the way that we waiting to get finalized. It might even be a few international surprises. I got to hop some flights because this is a world title after all. So there might be a few flights I have to hop. We'll get to you. My people will call your people. The ice cream machine is broken right now. We'll get with you when it's fixed. All right. Thank you. That's my official statement on that.
The ice cream machine.
DC's going to come after us for sure.
He wants to be cute and tell me that the ice cream machine is broken. It's always working when I'm in the building. His music does hit, though. It's a slapper. It's a slapper. I ain't going to front with you.
It's a stunningly accurate impression, though.
Yeah, honestly.
Speaking of taking the belt places, Van Twinblade, sign guy at Glory Pro. If you're familiar with Cap, you gonna come to Glory Pro with that belt? Maybe let 2D take it off you for a minute.
Why is it everybody be saying when you gonna show up so somebody can take it off? No, that's not how this works. I'm showing up and beating. I'm the beater. Okay, what was that Colt Cabana one? The one he had with New Jack. He said, I want to be the one. When he was talking about New Jack, like, I don't want to be the beat down man. I want to be the one. I'm the beater. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when are you gonna show up and lose that belt?
Still, nothing's changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got the title. They waiting on when exactly. So, she's somebody I would be intrigued to wrestle.
Yeah.
I was like, my wrestle niece, man. Like, and she's come such a long way. She's grown a lot. And honestly, I look at situations like the Jocelyn Navarro defense that I had at Naptown. She's incredible.
Yeah.
And not enough people know it. And I've got it worked into the deals that I have with places that we're going to be working with. We'll announce that more in time about official places that we're going to be working with and have relationships with, because it's a twofold reason. One, we want it so that the matches that are happening at those places are spotlighted and also count in the rankings. That way you know specifically why somebody's getting a title shot because of work they're doing out there in places, et cetera, et cetera. And then two, I want to open it up so that it's not just the usual suspects of people that are worth a shot here. Like, Jocelyn was undefeated at NAP and had some stiff competition. Of course, I got to go see that. I got to answer that. Tootie is an incredible competitor. She's been getting her shine on at NWA. I hear there's some other things in the works possibly for her. We talk all the time and stuff. I would love to wrestle her. Now, to be honest, I'm not trying to put somebody ahead of her. But if we were talking about Glory Pro and we were talking about somebody from that area I want a shot at, and I pay attention, I stay scheming. Camaro Jackson got to see me.
Bad boy.
I want to see him, and I hope he want to see me. Hell of a work ethic. I like the kid a lot. He paid his dues, and he's like the man around that scene. And the thing is, his
Big
name
time.
don't come up enough for me. It'd be a tough match, but I want that match, and I just want him to know if he's open to it. The conversation is absolutely open. We can do that.
You tweeted yesterday or the day before about a couple bullet points and a contingency plan on kind of what's going into the next contenders. I'd like to get it. When you say we, who's a part of this kind of decision making into what's going to go forward with that? And you're executing it. I was going to say, when are you going to start executing? But you already started executing.
Glad you asked. So of course, the home of this championship is always going to be DC, always. And it emanates out of Fight Club Wrestling, of course, which is Johnny Bruh, Chris Kazama, some other people behind the scenes. So this was in the works before I even got the title match. But we wanted to find ways to expand and try to open this up so that we could get this thing moving and we could identify some other talent and whatnot, because if we're opening roads up, it leads more people to come into DC, which I think is DC is an untapped wrestling city. I say that because the commission makes Maryland as a whole, they make it so hard to do business there, but like, God, they're so appreciative. There's a bunch of talent that's there, and they're not getting seen the way that they should be seen. So, my address is Georgia, but as long as I got this, not only is this a world thing, but I'm also the keeper and the holder of the DC scene as a whole. And I take that personally because I know what it's like to feel small when I know I could fill up a room if I had the opportunity. And I think that's the DC territory as a whole. So we both got a hair up our ass in terms of them as a territory and me as a performer. So we're going to do this together. We're going to try to grow this thing together. So if that means we can open up some roads so some people can come to there, but also that means we can get some people out to some of these other great places that are going on, and let's do what we need to do. But Chris Kazama, Johnny Bruh, of course, me as a talent, I like to identify what else is out there, but I was doing that even before then because, of course, I like this and I want to see it grow. I think it's safe to say some of the places I'm about to mention now, it's pretty much a formality that they're down with us. Like NAP, they're down with the idea. Action, they're down with the idea. Battle Club Pro, they're down with the idea. Of course, Reg, you'll probably know them, and that's a conversation I want to have. I got to reach out to Dark Sheik. I would love the Hood Slam to be down with this. I'm openly putting it out there in the world. West Coast Pro, we want to talk with you. You know, because you one of the loudest and the proudest.
Bad out here.
Right,
yes, need it real bad.
Need that. And it's like I'm looking at. I want to talk to Glory Pro. I've talked to Glory Pro. We have to have a further conversation. But aside from that, there's also places overseas that I'm talking to, and we want to just be able to create that network. That way, it's not just we're throwing up numbers just to throw up numbers, or we're throwing out names to throw out names. People are doing great work, and PWI has also been very good with us too, because as a recognized world title, they print rankings. So we want to be able to look at that, print those rankings, so we got something in black and white, and then we got something to work off of and go forward. Not to be that guy, but it's not like I'm worried about what they got to say about what I'm doing, because they're not worried about what I got going on either. But, you know, it's stuff like the NWA should be doing, but they're not. So it is what it is.
Don't get me started.
Look, you know how you learn something off of somebody that you don't expect to learn not a damn thing from? That's me about Plies. And Plies said, if you've ever been on his Instagram,
I wasn't
you
expecting you to say
about.
Plies.
No, if you've been on his Instagram, you'll know what I'm talking about. He a wild boy, but sometimes he'll drop a gem. One of my favorite things that he ever said was, they start really hating you when you do what they did to you, but to them, and better. And it's like, you got the name, you got the structure, you got the history, you got all that other stuff like that. And there was a point where it looked like you was really doing something cool with it. And then every so often, you just remind us, you could be doing something cool with it, but what's the Cedric the Entertainer? It don't quite curl over. His curl never quite. So I'm tired of waiting, and I think that's.
But Suge, they had a black world champ for like. I couldn't even finish. I'm sorry.
And that wasn't even under his watch when that happened. You know what I'm saying? So like that was a Jarrett move. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Jeff Jarrett. Hey, that was a Jarrett move. Like shout out Jeff Jarrett. But I digress.
I'm glad you thought about R-Truth and not Tyrus, like I was talking about.
Who? And I'm not saying who. Like I don't know. It's just, you know, my memory's hazy. I can't think about what was going on during that time. I'm just saying, you know, what's the whole thing? I don't like to mix my politics with wrestling. I don't. Yeah. So I just block it out. It out. I guess that's why I haven't thought about it. But you know, and shout out to them. You know, it's just an opinion. Who am I? I was Pineapple Pete. I was running around getting my ass beat during the pandemic in some yellow and green. You know, who am I? Because I already know that's gonna come. But you know, the money was good, the experience was good, great, cool. But regardless of anything, there's good talent there. There's potential there. It's just there's stuff they're just not doing, and it sucks because we need as many people as possible doing what they need to do. But that's why I get super excited about this, because I think a lot of us are tired of waiting now, so we're ready to do something. Which you see, like with Ashe ain't waiting for somebody else to book these matches that we wanted to see. They're just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm not waiting for somebody to tell us it's okay to go ahead and do this. I and the committee are gonna go out there and make it happen amongst people who want to make it happen. I think a lot of this business is, there's patience, but there's also knowing when to strike. And I think we're poised to strike in a very good way and to put a lot of us in really good positions when it's all said and done. This is bigger than what I'm doing with it right now. It has to be bigger by the time I'm done with it. Trish did that, and I want to be able to say I did that too, no matter who's next.
Hell yeah. I know you did mention taking that belt overseas. Something that, you know, sorry, J Rose, he retained, so it's happening.
J Rose is talking crazy on your name last week.
Oh my god!
Wait, hold on, because I love J Rose. What did he say? What did he say?
Well, he wanted Jocelyn to win the belt so the belt would stay in Nap, and I'm like, yo, but for the culture, like Suge's gonna take it overseas and do all these things. He's like, I don't care about none of that. I care about Nap, and I was like, all right.
To be fair, it is a world championship. It does have a schedule. That's why I always post my schedule in advance. If I lose, they get the bookings because they're booking the champ at the end of the day. Right. So she's still going to have to go do whatever's been on the list, and then they're going to have to work out what's going on. I want that on record. Like, they're it's a plus that they're booking Suge D. I'd like to think that's a plus because I think I bring a lot to a card no matter what's going on. But they're booking the champ. So if that changes, it is what it is. Like, the show's got to go on. But that's a little selfish. You want to keep it right to Indiana, like
that's what I said. That's selfish, J Rose. This the culture. Like we expanding around the world. He's like, nah, Nap, and I'm like, I get it, but also like, yo, we doing something.
So he want to be Black Drew when it's all said and done. It's just like, nah. If it ain't Indiana, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. We're right here.
Black Drew, that's crazy.
Have you ever seen What's Love Got to Do with it? He said she can leave, but the name stay home. The name stay home. That's how you feel about the title. I'm like, man, okay.
Exactly.
Wow, J Rose. So on record, he just said it, not me. If you win the title under J Rose's watch and you a Naptown regular, you in a 360 to Indiana, you might as well go ahead and get a place. Buy some property. You're gonna be there for a while. Okay.
If you nap, you nap. This
right.
Nap.
you tired of the promoters all in the video, dancing in the video. You know, you want to have some banger matches. You want to be a star. Come to Nap. All right. Bet. You see how people be plotting on me? Like they making their own plans off my downfall, and like I'm only at V1, man. I'm trying to at least match what Trish had on defenses. Like, man, that's crazy.
Because I haven't heard no one being like, I can't wait to see Suge successfully defend that championship when he gets it. Everybody's like, downfall. He's on his way. I can't wait till my favorite Black wrestler defeats him.
Look, I'm here for Suge's record-breaking 1,339th day as champion.
Yes.
Ooh, that sounds tiring.
That sounds crazy.
That's a long time when you put it into perspective, but that's the minimum number of days you'll have to hold that belt for to break Trish's record, which is insane.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I am transparent. I'm 38 years old. I'm a great looking 38, by the way. I'm gonna throw that out there. I'm 38 years old. So that equated to about 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Like so if I put in that kind of time, I demand the Pan-Afrikan pension when I drop it. You know what I'm saying? I demand the Pan-Afrikan pension, but we're gonna see what goes down. You know.
So you did mention bringing it overseas. I know England is somewhere you've spent some time at before. So here on Indeed, we're of course always about giving love to everybody. So who are some people that when you're thinking about bringing that belt over to England, who are some people that are, especially for the North American audience that we predominantly have, there's going to be some names that they're not going to be familiar with. So who are some people you're looking forward to having a match with for the across the pond?
So America's about to get familiar with somebody really soon.
Mm-hmm.
Leon Slater.
Very soon.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Good job, Impact.
Real talk.
Yeah.
I met Leon at a North show in Newcastle. Mm-hmm. And when I want to tell you, he's one of the most respectful kids. Always ask questions. And the thing is, with UK over there, when I was over there, it was booming. I was having a small weekend was 3 shows, and then I could get up to as much as 5 or 6 shows on a weekend sometimes. Wow. And money was great. I was making enough money where I was paying for all my bills back at home, and then still taking care of stuff over there. Had enough money to go crazy, ball out a little bit. And I missed that time, but I really missed the people and the culture, and stuff was booming. And then, speaking out, the pandemic, a bunch of other things happened, and it's a broken scene over there right now. So I'm really proud for a lot of these young kids that are stepping up right now. And it's like, we don't care if the attendance ain't what it was. We don't care if the money ain't what it was. We got to keep this thing pushing. We got to keep it alive. Leon was a part of that. Warren Banks was a part of that. Roy Johnson with Everything Pattern. That's the godfather of we need to put a black show on and show everybody what it's all about. Before Culture, before all of that, before Black Wrestlers Matter, all that other stuff. Don't let nobody tell you different. It was Roy Johnson. Shout out Roy Johnson. I would kill to give you a title shot. You gotta quit with all the bodybuilding stuff, because I don't want you to have no excuses. You dehydrated. You was on a cycle week or whatever. Put some weight on. Go eat whatever you gotta eat. Get back to your wrestling body. Not your underwear model body, the wrestling body, and then come see me. But shout out Everything Pattern. I absolutely want to see Doris. when I met Darius, he was fresh out of training, lighting stuff up. He wasn't on the the big way. Like when I say L1, you say 2-1. Like he wasn't on that yet. But he's a star. He got like a ton of belts. Him and Leon, they were a tag team. They're up and down, killing it. And he's Wrestle Carnival champion right now. And it got me thinking about some things now that I say that. But I really, really, really want to see Darius. And we can't talk about black wrestling in the UK.
I was about to say,
come
on.
I know you was waiting.
I was like, yo, is he going to do this without doing this? What's going on here?
We can't talk about black wrestling in the UK without talking about big match Ajmo, Michael Oku.
Yep.
What is it? The only, I think perhaps the only, hold on. I feel like there's another black star that has a 5-star match as a Meltzer rating. Whether you take that thing seriously or not, it doesn't change the fact that he's a black star with a Meltzer 5-star.
I have to think about it.
Yeah,
but
that's
I think
what I'm
so.
saying.
Yeah,
but I think he is the only one. And arguably, I think Kofi should have one because him and Daniel Bryan is the perfect. If I want to show
5 stars to me, that's when
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what Meltzer say. It doesn't matter what Meltzer. That's
Right.
the 5-star match to me.
He's got some ratings on there that are just like some of them were like that's a snub. That was a snub.
But it's like that. The Grammys, the Oscars. It's their committee. They're gonna put it together. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But regardless of anything, like Oku's the man. He's been the man for a while. When it's time for the big match over there in England, very few people do it better. And I'm hoping he comes over to America more so people can see it. Honestly, I'm hoping that somebody wises up and it's like, I'd hate to lose him on the indies, but he's too good to not have pen to paper.
Yeah.
He really need that when it's all said and done. But I would like to be able to get over there and have a few conversations with some of those gentlemen in the ring and see what we could get cooking and whatnot if it comes down to it.
Yeah. There's a lot of not just England, around the world. You've gotten into, you said so many names already of kind of where the future of this championship is going to go. And it's already so exciting. Just of course, we got to continue to say Trish done a great, amazing job. But she's kind of like on a tier deal. It feels like she got stuff going on up there and she's like doing her thing. And that's what made me excited about you winning the championship is that you're on the grind. You're on the ground floor going for it. You're going to be overseas. You're going to be all the places you can get to put this championship over. So again, congrats for winning that championship. And I'm super excited about what the future of the championship is going to represent. But I'd like to know because you said you're 38 years old. You've been in the game. You've been at Chikara. You've been in AEW. You've been in all these places. Do you still have goals out here that are beyond this championship, beyond kind of what's happening today? Is there still something that you're like, because you said you don't think you're going to be a contract. You're not going to be at WrestleMania and shit. Like, what is there for Suge?
So I will say this: you never know. There's a lot of stuff in my career that I just never knew. I always told myself at one point that, if you knew my goals when I first started in comparison to what they look like now, you would either call me super foolish or just like delusional or you swear I was smoking something even though I don't do drugs. It's not on no straight edge thing. It's okay. When I tell people I don't get into drugs or I don't drink, it's not a straight edge thing. It's not me trying to be on some like, oh my God, this stuff or whatever it is. I couldn't afford none of it. And I ain't know nobody that could give me none of it when it was time to go. And by the time I got to the point where I could get it, I was spending money on other things. I ain't see the point. So I'm not trying to floss on y'all. It is what it is. I digress. The point that I'm trying to make when you ask me about my goals, I didn't know AEW was going to be something. Like, technically, that wasn't even... I joke a lot, but I'm also serious. It wasn't supposed to be my opportunity. It really took the end of the world for that to be my opportunity. Like, the world literally had to shut down for Suge D to kick in. They were supposed to be doing Blood and Guts in New York when that whole thing came together. They weren't thinking about coming to Atlanta for some time. Like, that was a quest of necessity, and then it's a comedy of errors because the world has to shut down. They make the move to Florida. Then even I got the debut with Kip Sabian. Had the match. Match went well, but they were going to do Florida for a little while more. But then, there was the issue with Florida. They had to make the sudden pivot. They went to Atlanta. I had to wake up at night to go pee because sometimes that happens. And I noticed that there was the text from QT Marshall saying that, hey, can you be in Atlanta at 7 a.m. and I'm waking up at 4 a.m. I have to hurry up and pack my bag. I could have missed that because I didn't have to go pee. Thank God I drank too much water that night. I'm just showing you how many comedies and errors have to come together to make this happen. So then that happens. So then I have to hurry up and pack a bag. I'm going through and I'm looking at shirts to have. I had a lemon shirt and I had a pineapple shirt. What if I didn't find that? What if it wasn't in the wash? What if I didn't feel like going through my clothes or whatever? But I got those packed. I get there just in time. I check out. I didn't get COVID. All this stuff is happening. I have to pick a shirt to go with my gear. If I had picked the other gear, it wouldn't have matched. So I would have been Lemon Larry or whatever it is, and then shit don't pop. You know what I'm saying? I happen to be wearing a pineapple shirt. Then let's get even more coincidental. It was supposed to be Excalibur that was on commentary. Excalibur couldn't make it, couldn't fly out. California was locked down. Jericho said he would do it. He couldn't wrestle, but he said he would do it. He was set to wrestle, but they needed somebody in commentary. So he pulled the flip and he did commentary. That was the first time he ever did commentary was during the pandemic. So now Chris Jericho's in the chair. I happen to be on camera. They happen to take the camera shot. Oh my God, it reminds him of a place back and all the way in Florida during the WCW Worldwide days when this brother used to go to a place called Pineapple Pete's. So he dropped the Pineapple Pete name. Oh my God, it gets over. We going to what's going on. But it took that many comedies of errors just for me to be able to get what I got. So what I'm saying to you is you never know how many things in this dumbass little butterfly effect comes together to get you a shot. I say all that to say it was a great time. It was a fun time. The two biggest regrets about the Pineapple Pete run. The first one is I had hoped, maybe in the back of my mind, I always knew in the back of my mind that, you know, all it takes is just a text for them to say, hey, we don't need you. Or, okay, it's been cool. This is it. I wanted.
You muted yourself.
Oh. I was like, he's getting into it.
Oh, Lord. Sorry.
There
I caught the spirit so bad I muted myself. Oh, my God. Okay. So,
I'm like, is that the powers to be being like, they can't hear this part?
Redacted.
Contract wrestling has been listening. The beast is listening. The beast is listening. We have to change. We have to change the frequency.
Yeah, that's on the 5-second delay. They let them get the story going, and then you're like,
"Well, contract wrestling."
All right, shut them down.
Yep.
So, all right. Basically, all I'm getting at is my two biggest regrets. One, I wanted to last long enough to be able to say, that I wrestled in like an actual arena with a few thousand people. Because I just wanted to know what that feels like. The most I've ever wrestled in front of is Alexandra Palace, Progress. It had about 1,500 people there. And it was live. Mm-hmm. I just want to know what 5,000 sounds like. I just want to know 6,000, 10,000, whatever. I just want to know, and I'm confident in myself, but I just want to know if they're feeling me, whether they're hating me or they booing me, what that sounds like in real time. That matters to me. And maybe I'll get that opportunity. Maybe I don't. I'm not bitter if it doesn't come around, but I also can't just sit around hoping that it comes around either. You know what I'm saying? I got to keep moving. The second regret is you don't realize how many people don't know the kind of work you're putting in until you get into that position. Because you see the Twitter comments, you see all the stuff that's going on and whatnot. And it's one of those cases where, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Who is this guy? You don't want to be smelling yourself out there on the indie circuit and then find out when you get on TV that, yeah, you popping, again, it's that mixtape status thing. You sold $1 million out the trunk, but nobody knows who the hell you are. And that's fine. We have that conversation my trainer used to say, whereas you need to stop going to places acting like you over. There's somebody that hasn't seen you. If you treated every match, every opportunity, every moment like they've never seen you before, it will keep you in check. Because you promo like they've never seen you before. You wrestle like they've never seen you before. Your energy is like you're debuting for the first time every time. And it made me really think about that and be like, okay, my biggest audience was Pineapple Pete. So for a million people or whoever was watching at the time, and all those people that are watching the old YouTube videos and everything like that, they think the biggest thing I've ever done with my career was me versus Chris Jericho, which is big. But this creates an opportunity for me to be able to have something of my own as Suge D, trying to make something happen. And I need to see that through, and I need to follow that through, and I need to make something happen. And in the course of that, who knows? I might run into something else. I don't count anything out, but somebody's got to keep the lights on here in indie wrestling.
Facts.
And if it's going to be me, I'm cool. And I had my conversations and my thoughts at one point about you're a failure because you didn't get the deal. And there are people on Twitter, not a real place, that will make you feel like you ain't popping if you ain't got the deal, which is crazy to me if we're having the Twitter conversation, because like you get a wave going on the indies. All anybody ever wants is for you to get the deal. You get the deal, then everybody hates you when you get the deal because you ain't popping the way that's going on, or they hate creative, or they hate this, or they do this, or they do that. And then, you come back, and I hope to God they haven't ruined your love for the game, because then it turns into, oh my God, I'm unshackled and all this other stuff. They're finally going to see what I'm going to do. Dude, like, I know rough things happen no matter what's going on, but there's going to be a rough part of wrestling no matter what's going on, whether you sign the ink or you don't. Like,
Yep.
It's just like the rap. I compare it to the rap game a lot.
It is. They're very similar.
Right. When you sign to a label, they got a certain package for you, and this is how they want, and this is the formula that's going to get you to chart, and this, that, and the third. It's very rare, but it's cool when people get to keep the parts, and they have people in that office that know who they are and are able to still keep that authenticity while still making these big hits and getting these millions and doing things that's going on. But a contract is a contract. It's a job. You gotta get this mortgage. You gotta get some stuff going and whatnot. Sometimes you're gonna make a few songs for the check, and sometimes you're gonna make some stuff because those are the personal hits. That's the stuff that you want to do. I'm fortunate enough that AEW, when that was all said and done, gave me an opportunity for opening a few new doors, so that I am making better money now, to the point where everything's all good. Not tripping about some stuff. I can pick and choose what's going on. I don't know if I'll ever get the challenge to be able to do TV wrestling again, but I'd like to. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not tripping about it. I'm not a failure over it if it doesn't happen. And sometimes there need to be some cats that have a hellacious mixtape run. So if I'm a Dat Piff wrestler, I'm a Dat Piff wrestler, man. I'm working on the dedication too.
Facts.
That's what I'm working on.
Love that.
There's bars all over this, Suge, man.
Somebody gotta be proud. Like, I don't know. I guess like people treat indie like it's a dirty word. Somebody gotta be proud to be indie.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It feels like everybody is so quick to try to get out of it. And it's like, at least give back to it before you, like, that's all I really care about. Like, give back to it if you're going to, like, use it for whatever it is to get over there. Like, at least try to give back. At least try to make sure the future of this is well and going. Because they say all the time, indie wrestling's dead, indie wrestling's dead. Indie wrestling will never die. There's, like I said, I did the BW 500, but there's, like, 500 more black wrestlers that are out in the world.
Oh, yeah.
There's 1,000 other wrestlers in America and Mexico and Japan and Europe. There's like all these places that if WWE and AEW stopped today, there still would be those. Like, this is forever. So you continuing to not only want to carry this championship, but represent for independent wrestling is very important.
Yeah. It's just, I love the crust of it. Like, I've sacrificed a lot for it, and there are some times I probably did too much in terms of the sacrifices. When you get older, you start realizing that stuff because you start losing things. And I'm fortunate to be able to say, like, it's the best balance I've ever had in my life. And then along with work, like, I'm having a good time with who I am when I'm out of boots as well as when I'm in them. Right. But and I guess people will throw around the thing that I kind of take like on a mentor role, or I drop advice. I want people to really enjoy this, because you're putting so much wear and tear on your body. You're putting in so many miles. You're stressing about if it's ever going to happen. You're getting passed over. There's people that you're gonna share cars with, and they're gonna be gone because they're going to make bigger money. And you used to talk to them every day, and sometimes you're not going to talk to them as much because the life comes at them fast and other stuff is going on. But this
Like
is
people
growth.
are probably frustrated right now about Leon Slater because he's 19 and he got a contract, and they're probably like, "I've been in the game for this many years and he got this," and it's like it doesn't have to be like that. And there are more spots than just the one,
Sure.
just the two, just the three that
And they're
people
gonna hate
have
what
to
I gotta
remember.
say about that. Like if this pisses somebody off, what I'm about to say next, cool. Look, he got the spot. There's a certain thing called self-awareness, and there's another thing that follows around that is tag team partner, the hot tag, accountability. I've had to be self-aware a few times about some stuff that's going on. That's why Alex Kane is one of my best friends in this business. That's why Darius Lockhart is one of my best friends in the business. Because there have been times that I've had to tell them something they did not want to hear. And even if it pissed them off, they knew it was out of love and they did what they had to do. Both of them have had to tell me some shit I did not want to hear. Alex Kane had to tell me some shit I didn't want to hear 6 months ago. And I needed to hear it. It lit a fire in my ass, man. It made me want to go. It made me want to go get it a little bit more. Transparency without being too detailed about it. We were talking about how industry talk and everything, right? The people that make the decisions don't seem to want to tell you to your face why they made a decision. They'll babyface you, but it's like they'll have the real reason why they made the decision to somebody else, like somebody that's in the inner circle. Listen, dude, you know, I've lived a lot, I've lost a lot. Some of my favorite people in this business are people I can't. Well, some people would say they can't stand, or they would call them assholes, but I respect them because I know where they're coming from. I know they're going to keep it real with me. I know they're not going to babyface me because that's not going to make me better, or that's not going to answer the questions that I need to get better. Kane had a conversation with them, and he came back and he told me something from that person that it really sucked to hear, especially because I heard something completely different from that person as to why. But I'm like, all right, that's how you feel, but you're wrong. And I'm not going to be here bitter about it or pissy about it or say this or that and the third. I'm going to get after it. And honestly, I guess I do need to say this. Alex, thank you so very much because you told me to get after it. I got this now. And that means the world to me because I wouldn't have been putting two and two together if you didn't tell me what you told me that day. Because then it made me think, what else is everybody saying? And even if they're still saying it, we don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. So this leads me to my point about Leon Slater. Self-awareness and accountability. Okay, so they don't give the deal to Leon Slater. Are you the guy that they would have called next? Is your gear on point? Are your matches popping like that? Do you have the social media following? Are you having the big matches? Are you the ones that the promoters lean on when it's like, man, I need somebody to go ahead and do this? Are you getting trial offers? Are you going to the
Are you going viral every time you hit your finish? I know it sounds
Right.
stupid, but like that's what it is, you know?
There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways in. There's guys that people get pissy about who got deals who don't go through the quote unquote super indies. And I'm here to tell you, they're not at the super indies, but they're at places that people watch or people scout. And it's not a back door, but sometimes it's the stuff that they don't talk about that gets you in the front door. And you have to be open and you got to be ready for that. But a lot of people will get pissy about the Leon Slaters of the world because it's like, oh, well, he's 19 and he's getting this and he's getting that. Okay, if they didn't give it to Leon Slater, you weren't the second person on the list that they weren't going to call. You weren't even the 100th person on the list that they were going to call. Worry about what you got going on. Yours will come to you. Like, I'm not pocket watching nobody else. I'm not looking over at somebody else. All I can worry about is what I got in front of me.
Hell yeah. Well, Suge, it's been almost an hour with you. An incredible conversation.
Yeah, man.
Before we wrap it up, we often like to talk about, close it out thinking forward. So you've won the Pan-Afrikan World Diaspora World Championship. You also recently acquired the Action Tag Team titles. also hold the Paradigm Pro Tag title. You're amassing a little bit of a collection there. But how are you looking to close out 2023, and what are your goals for 2024 and beyond?
2023, I need to let people know I'm serious. Like the match I had with Jocelyn, that's a start. Like I need people to know it's like, okay, it's big match Suge, man. You know, if especially if it's the Pan-Afrikan that's on the line. Not that I'm trying to turn down any less, but if the Pan-Afrikan's on the line, I'm giving you everything I got with whoever is in there, and they're gonna have to meet me. They're gonna have to match me. They can't phone in. I need them on AR Fox time. When I say AR Fox time, since the day I met AR Fox, all the way back in the day in FIP, when they invited him to the Jeff Peterson Memorial. AR Fox is one of my favorite wrestlers because that man don't know how to phone it in. I've seen him have Mania quality matches for 3 people. I've seen him have it with stadiums now, which he deserves. And he don't know how to turn down. This man will be a broken mess and still come out that curtain ready to go and give you everything. Like, you don't have to do all that, Fox. Yeah, he do. And it's not a discussion. He goes out there and he's got to do it his way. I want that. I want to be able to be on that AR Fox time when they see me on there, that I gave you what I got when we were having the match. When we get into 2024, we got to touch some new horizons. We got to do some new things. We got to make some new possibilities happen around this title. And, of course, for myself, even outside of that. I'm of a mind that, well, 2 things. The first thing of a mind is, I think if you're just doing great work, strong work, quality work, the rest is going to come with you. If you do quality work, the money's going to come. The championship opportunity is going to come. The promotions will come. And it may not happen as fast as you want to, but it'll happen. It'll come. Like, people are paying attention. That's a shout to everybody else that's out there that's grinding too. I need you to stay on that. The other thing too is there's a Chinese proverb in the Dao Ti Ching, Lao Tzu, Chinese philosopher. I love that book because it teaches you how to be okay with letting stuff go, because the world is still moving in its own thing. You know, like, you got to learn to be reactionary when it's the right time. And one of my favorite sayings from that book, it basically boils down to, you do something great and then you forget about it. And it took kind of growing up to realize it. I always think about the Chris Jericho match when I say that line, because there's so many people that would have Al Bundy'd that match and been on some like, well, you know, I wrestled Chris Jericho 4 years ago, right? You know what I'm saying? I know vets from back in the day when I was starting off in Georgia, they had a squash match with Ric Flair, and we'll never let it go. He's like, man, Rick told me I was the best they ever want for him that night, and this, that, and the third, and all this other stuff like that. And it's like, I feel you, my guy, but what's been going on? Like, that's what you gonna hang your head on? Like that? Like, that's it? Like, that's what you got? And there's some cats, it's like that. It's like you peaked in high school. You peaked on that squash match. You peaked on that little bit of time that you had over there. And it's like, if that works for you, okay, but that don't work for me. I want something more than what's going on. I want people to be able to look at my indie legacy, or if I get another shot at TV, something that they can really cling to and just be like, man, you know, he was always moving. You know, he did this. You know, he did that too. You know, he did that. So if you do that something great, you enjoy it for that moment that you have, and then you have to forget about it. Because otherwise you cling to that too much. You get complacent. You think people should be showing you old love when, you know, you showing me love for an album I put out when I debuted, and we're 4 albums in, and I ain't matched that quality in some time. Don't nobody want to be Nas. Because it took a long time for Nas to get out that hole for a little while. He made Illmatic his first album. One of the most perfect rap albums you will ever hear in your life. He had some problems getting people to believe he was really that after, because he was a curse of being so great. And he did coast off his reputation off that first album for a long time, but he showed people later. I got to show people now. And this is great. It's humbling. I'll be honest with you. I really look at it every time I get ready to go into the car, but otherwise, I leave it in my little area where my championships sit, and I do my best not to really look at it because I don't want to start feeling myself too much. The work just got harder. That's all it is.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, damn, Suge. I appreciate you coming and spending some time with us today.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. This has been great, honestly.
Yeah. You look, you may refer to yourself as a mixtape guy, but if there's one thing that's true about mixtapes, they've all got bars. Today's episode was loaded with them.
It was
loaded with them. So again, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Before we do get our own shit off, what do you got to plug? Where can everyone find you at?
At Sugar Dunkerton on Twitter. Keep it light, guys. Everything ain't got to be the end of the world when we message each other on Twitter. Keep it light. Keep it light. That's all I ask. It's like, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just hang on Twitter because I just feel it's going to fall apart. Like, I'm honestly just sitting for the implosion. That's all. That's all I'm here for. Like, when it falls apart, and I'm Tyler Durden at the end of Fight Club, and I'm just looking at all the buildings just fall, and I'm just
yes.
But until then, I'm gonna tweet it out. Sugar Dunkerton, FASHO. That's pronounced for show. Shout out Omar, one of the coolest dudes I ever met in my life. That's me on Instagram. Sugar Dunkerton bro at gmail.com. That's the booking email. That's the business email. That's always open along with the DMs. Come reach out to me. I got shows coming up at, Retinal. I got Retinal Pro Wrestling. I got Ashe, of course. We got Action. We got TWE. We got a few things that we working out as far as it goes to some different states to be confirmed, all this other stuff like that. And if I'm giving a final plug, I'm giving a shout out to just the fans that remember to be fans. This is something to be loved and enjoyed. It's not perfect, but it's great when we just turn the brain off for a minute and we just enjoy it for what it is. I appreciate you. And this is a shout out to the grinders out there. I know people, you feel unseen and you feel like it's not coming fast enough. It'll come in its time, but you got to work hard and you got to be ready and you got to stay ready for whatever is going to happen for you. Don't let nobody feel bad if you got the longest contract in the world or you got no contract. Are you putting out good work? The rest will follow.
Hell yeah. Thank you again so much for coming to hang out today.
Yeah, it's been good.
Absolutely. Reg, where can everyone find you at, my dude?
You can, of course, find me here every Wednesday with Mike on Indeed. I'm on with Denise on the AEW Dynamite post show. Tomorrow's Ask Rhapsody with Philip on the Fightful Select. And then I'll be on the Ring of Honor post show with Kate Thursday night. And of course, every Saturday you can catch me on the Grapsody podcast. Philip Lindsay talking the best in pro wrestling of the week. Check out the BW 500. There's some cool things still in the horizon going. So, we moving. Thank you again, Suge. This has been amazing. A lot of gems. I'm ready. I'm feeling motivated off of that, and I'm not even a wrestler. So, shout out to that.
Gaston LaRue, we see you, man.
Oh, my God.
See you, man. You doing good work out here, boy. Paul Wall Award, Gaston LaRue. Yeah. I think you should start doing that now in the BWI, man. Like, get the 500, but get the Paul Wall Award. The somebody and everything like that. I think that's the one. I think that's the one.
It's like Adam Priest is going to be first, I think.
Screw you. Hell no.
I knew that was going to touch it.
Hell no, Adam Priest ain't first. BK Westbrook? Now, okay, that boy is icy. Like Paul Wall Award. First ballot.
Like, you got to have the John B thing to win the award is what you're saying?
Hey, whatever gets you the spot. Whatever gets you the spot, man.
Oh my God. And I'm gonna slip my plugs in and get the hell out of here. Oh my God. Every Wednesday here talking wrestling, independent wrestling with Reg here on Indeed. Guests that we have coming up. Let's see. Next week we have Dan the Dad. He's gonna come here. He's gonna come hang out, talk about some Glory Pro with us. So there you go, Van Twinblade.
Finally, Pan Twin Blade.
Week after that is going to be somebody from West Coast Pro. They got a show that weekend, so we'll figure that out. And then
I'll get somebody. We got somebody.
We got some rescheduled guests from some illness a couple months ago to get back. So we're gonna have Alyssa Marino coming up, and Matthew Grant from Crossbody Pro Wrestling up here in Canada, and otherwise I'll just be on the Twitter machine, the thing right there. Talk about shows. Right now, it's just going to be me geeking out about the fact that Alpha One Wrestling's coming back. More wrestling in my hometown. Thank fuck. I love it.
I didn't even know that. Lord, okay, Alpha One.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Ethan Page put out a YouTube video today that he announced February 3rd of next year.
Oh, let's go.
Alpha One will be making its return, and it will be running still here in the greatest city on earth, Hamilton,
love when
Ontario,
wrestling
Canada.
comes back, baby. Yes.
Best of luck to them, man. They was making some things happen when they was out. They was popping.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. My local scene has been up lately, and it's I'm just benefiting off of it. Like I get to see all this stuff wrestling all the time. It's amazing. Like as a fan, that's all we want. We just want to watch good ass wrestling. So in the meantime, go to a show, buy some merch, check out your favorite wrestlers, and we'll probably have them here on Indeed one day. We got at least 50 episodes down, so somewhere in the next 50. Thanks for hanging